My name's Angeline. I'm a volunteer at the Pelvic Partnership and I'm a mum of two. I've got two kids, one at 13 and one aged 4. And I had PGP in both pregnancies, yeah. I first experienced pelvic girdle pain in 2008 and came on quite suddenly, I would say. Initially felt like a kind of sciatic nerve pain, but then very quickly became what we would typically know as pelvic girdle pain symptoms. I didn't have PGP post-pregnancy with my first, so I had it from 30 right through till delivery, and then the PGP went after birth, so I didn't experience it postnatally. However, with my second, I had PGP from 14 weeks in pregnancy in 2017. So it was a worry that it could come back, given how uncomfortable I was in my first pregnancy, and it did come back very intensely and much sooner than I expected it to. And it was pretty brutal from 14 weeks right through to delivery. And then I am still, well, I'll be 5 years postnatal in July. So my youngest will be 5 in July. So I'm still experiencing PGP now, although it is improving and I'm getting there, and I've done a lot of work to get to this point. But I think it's important to say that, you know, I'm not alone, and other women do experience it postnatally as well. So there, you know, we need to do a lot more to help support women. So first time it was a dull pain in my symphysis bone at the front, pubis symphysis, and also aching all round. Like if you think of your pelvis as a bowl, all around the back of the pelvis, like a permanent ache. Worse when turning in bed, worse in the morning because, you know, I've been lying all night and been stiff. Painful when you wake for the bathroom during the night, which we all know we do when we're pregnant a lot, especially heavy pregnancy. So that was kind of the first time round. The second time was just off the scale. So initially it started in the pubis symphysis, just really intense, hot, burning, dull, aching pain. And then very quickly, like within days, it was very intense in the left sacroiliac joint. I can feel it, and it really genuinely feels like a joint is jammed. And then when that gets treated, I can only describe it as it being released and everything's sitting where it should sit. And I now know my body so well that I'm so in tune with it, but it's taken a long time, as you can appreciate, like years to get to that point. So it then travelled to the sacroiliac on the left, and then just all round the pelvis, just all round it, constantly aching, burning, crunching and grinding, which I still get now. I've got the clicks just now because I need realigned. So the clicking, the grinding, turning in bed, absolutely horrific, just so intense, the pain. I mean, you know, it was worse than labour, genuinely worse than labour. Like for me personally, worse than labour. But I guess it was such a long time that I experienced it. So I had it from 14 weeks all the way through to delivery at 39. And I knew exactly what it was because I had experienced it my first pregnancy. And I spoke to midwife about it in my booking appointment. I then went away quite disheartened because the pain was really intense at this point. It was early on in pregnancy, but it was difficult. Pelvic Partnership are an amazing charity that support women with pelvic girdle pain. They have a fabulous website, which is a wealth of information and is such a practical website. So if you Google Pelvic Partnership, you'll come across the website where you will see so much information about pelvic girdle pain, about various topics that affect women with PGP, painful sex, relationships. There is so many things that are impacted by PGP that I believe are underestimated. Your mental health. For me, if I don't have my mental health, I'm no good to anyone. And, you know, I would take a broken leg any day over a dip in my mental health. And it's so important that as a society, we recognise that and support parents and mums. And if you think about someone with chronic pain, just chronic pain, general chronic pain, we know that it impacts your mental health. PGP is no different. So PGP is chronic pain, but you've also got pregnancy in the mix. So you've got hormones, you've got all the extra stress you're putting on your body. You've potentially got other kids at home. You've got a house to run. You know, you've got work. Pregnancy is a really vulnerable part of a woman's life. There's also a Facebook support group, which is amazing because I think we're sitting at about 2,700 members at the moment, where you can go on and just feel understood. So, you know, we've got members on there that are early pregnancy, mid, late pregnancy, postnatal. So, you know, there's members on there, and everyone's like-minded, and it's so supportive. It is so supportive. So if you're feeling anything, if you're, you know, don't let it escalate. Go along, talk to someone that you can trust, that you feel comfortable with, speak to your GP, get the support. There are some really good groups out there, and you will have support from Pelvic Partnership Mentally. There's a helpline as well that's amazing to go, give them a phone, talk to someone. It's manned, and you'll get a call back. People that just understand what it feels like.
If I just describe the pelvis, you've got 3 joints in your pelvis. So you've got the symphysis pubis at the front, and then 2 sacroiliac joints at the back, which are joints. What normally happens is that one of those big stable joints at the back of the pelvis gets a bit stuck and stops moving normally. So the other 2 joints have to move more and get irritated and painful. And that's when you get pelvic girdle pain. So traditionally, people were told, oh, it's all your, it'll get better as soon as the baby's born. But actually, because it's this mechanical joint problem, if you get somebody who's really good at treating pelvises to have a look at those joints, work out which one's giving the problem, and treat it using manual therapy such as physiotherapy, it can be really easily treated during pregnancy. And that's what Angeline's just described in her video, how she had all this pain and then she found treatment, and that got her back on the road to recovery. So the Pelvic Partnership is a charity which provides support and information, and really our aim is to let women know that this treatment's out there, that it is really treatable. By being told, oh, there's nothing you can do in pregnancy. It is really treatable and safe to treat at any stage in pregnancy, and it can really transform your life, having that kind of hands-on treatment that gets your pelvis moving normally again. So that's very much what we support and encourage people to find.